Welcome back to my channel where math is made easy. So today we're continuing our volume series. In our last video we would have looked at finding the volume of prisms. Now we're going to be looking at finding the volume of pyramids. All right, so the volume of pyramid, the formula is right here. If you notice, this is particularly talking about a pyramid that has a base that is either a square or a rectangle. All right, now remember we have the cone. We're also going to look at that in this video, but for now the short would be 1/3 times the base times the height. And remember that this base right here is talking about the area of the base. So with that said, we're going to dive right into it. All right, and this height, we should also note that it's our vertical height, because we don't want to get this confused, because sometimes in some of the diagrams they'll give you the slant height. Remember, it's not the slant height that we're using, it's the vertical height. So it's from the center of the base to the highest point of your pyramid. All right, so let's dive right into it. Now please remember to go subscribe, like this video, share this video, leave a comment, and also tell me where you're watching from. All right, so let's go. I'm gonna put some numbers in here. So for this piece, I'm gonna say I'm gonna call that 5 centimeters. I'm gonna call that 4 centimeters. And for my height, I'm gonna say that my height is 6 centimeters. All right. Remember the formula or volume for the pyramid, that's a V right there, is 1/3 times my B times my height. In this case, my B is a rectangle, so that's 1/3 times the length times the width times the height. Let's plug that in. 1/3 times 4 times 5 times 6. And right here we have something that we can cancel. If you haven't watched my video on that, you can go ahead and watch my video on the multiplication. I'll try my best to put that link in the description section so you'll have access to that. So 3 into itself, 1, 3 into that, 2 times. So now I'm left with 1 times 4 times 5 times 2. That's 4 5 20 times 2. That's 40 centimeters cube. All right, now that's the pyramid with the rectangular base. Let's look at how do we find the volume of a cube. In this case, remember the base of my cone, sorry, is a circle. How do we find the area of a circle? Remember, we're using the formula 1/3 BH, where this is the base area. So that's 1/3 times pi r squared, because that's how we find the area of a circle, which is my base right there, times height. All right, let's dive right into an example. How do we do that? So let's take these two. Here we're given the radius, and that's easy for us. So that's 1/3 BH. So that's 1/3 times pi r squared times h. Let's plug the information in. I'm going to use a different color. So that's 1/3 times 3.14 times my radius right here is 3, and that's radius squared, times my height, which is 8. Again, we have something that we can cancel. So that's equal to 1 times 3.14 times 3 times 8, and that is gonna give me 75.36. I would have calculated that ahead of time. You can always go ahead and plug that in your calculator, all right? Now, let's take the next one. Right here. Here they gave me my diameter. And we know that our radius is half of our diameter. So I'm just gonna put that right there. My R is gonna be 4, because 4 plus 4 gives me 8, right? So let's go ahead and find our, I'm sorry, this is supposed to be cube. Remember, we're finding the volume. So that's B, H, so that's 1/3 times pi r squared times H. Again, let's put the values in. 1/3 times 3.14 times 4 times 4. This right here is my r squared times my height, which is 9. And again, we have something that we can cancel. That's 3 into itself 1, 3 into that 2. So let's wrap it up right here. That's 1 times 3.14 times 16. Sorry, this is supposed to be 3 times 3. All right. And so my final answer is going to be 131.88 feet. No, so that's finding the volume of pyramids. Easy peasy, all right? Take the time to pause and just look, because it's super simple. Just remember the formula. It's 1/3 of your base area times your height, all right? And whatever your base is, just remember how to find the area of that base and plug it in the formula. Thank you for watching.